So I'm going to give you as much of the information I possibly can. We are going to give you an update a couple of times today. So we will give you just the basics this morning, all right? We had this event started at about 3:15. It did involve a man driving a pickup truck down Bourbon Street at a very fast pace, and it was very intentional behavior. This man was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could. It was not a DUI situation. This is a more complex and more serious based on the information we have right now. With respect to numbers, we have right now, and as you already know, this could change throughout the day. We do know that there are 26 injured people who are at UMC Hospital. We know we have test, one at Tulane, but even as I was walking out the door, I believe I have an unconfirmed additional people who have been taken to other area hospitals, possibly on the east side. But we will give you as many correct numbers as we can as the day progresses. It is a very tragic situation for me to tell you that we know we have 10 people that this man killed on Bourbon Street. That is why we do not want anyone on Bourbon Street today. Wherever you see yellow tape, please do not violate this tape. This is in order to protect and stabilize the scene. We have information to a certain degree of the demographics of those who are in the hospital right now. We do not know at this point how many could be tourists versus locals, but from the information I have right now, it seems the majority are locals versus tourists. What I also can tell you is that this man, this perpetrator, he fired on our officers from his vehicle when he crashed his vehicle. 2 of our officers have been shot. They are stable, and we will give you an update on them. I have yet been able to go to the hospital. I will be leaving here for us to go visit our officers. We have called in every officer that we have. We have so much appreciated our partnerships who have also offered us staff. Last night, we had over 300 officers out here. And because of the intentional mindset of this perpetrator who went around our barricades in order to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. Because of the nature and the indices that we have on the scene, and we have enough information that the FBI will be taking over this investigation. And with that, I am going to be asking, this is the assistant agent in charge. This is Agent Duncan, Special Agent Duncan. And she has taken over this case on behalf of us and the FBI. As always, we will be in partnership with all of our partners. But Agent Duncan, if you want to have a few words for me.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. My name is Alika Duncan. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge for FBI New Orleans. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional information at the 11 a.m. press conference. Thank you so much, and we will be in touch.
Yes, I will say that we want our community and our visitors to continue enjoying. There's so much to enjoy about New Orleans, and we are going to make sure that our routes in the Superdome are safe today for the game, and yet we had this tragic event, and we're sorry again to everyone in our community. But we do want you to go about the day, as we say, just stay away from Bourbon, okay?
Can you elaborate on the device? You did say something about the device.
We actually are not going to be taking questions this morning until we have more information. That's why we will give you an 11 o'clock briefing. So until then, please hold your questions. We will give you everything that we possibly can, okay? So 11 o'clock, we will see you at the headquarters, and we will go again from there, okay? No questions, no questions right now.
The device is confirmed? Thank you all. We will see you at 11 a.m.
All right, so what you just heard right there was an update from local officials in New Orleans, the mayor there speaking, the police chief speaking as well, and then also the FBI speaking as well, because they announced that they will be taking over this investigation. We learned a tremendous amount of information from that press briefing. First off, that this incident started around 3:15 in the morning in New Orleans in the French Quarter, that there was a man driving a pickup truck, and that this was very intentional behavior. The police chief there saying that this was not a DUI situation, that this person was trying to run people over, also saying that he was hell-bent on creating carnage. Another thing that we learned from that press briefing is that the man who was in this pickup truck, who allegedly, or according to police, drove down Bourbon Street trying to hit people, also fired on New Orleans police officers after, I guess it seems he crashed his car, and that 2 officers were shot by this suspect. One of the other things that came up in this press briefing was that it sounded like the FBI said there, the assistant special agent in charge, that there was an improvised explosive device found, and they're checking on that. But again, as you heard at the end of that press conference, they didn't take any questions, so there was not an opportunity to clarify more about that. Let's go to our reporters and analysts who we have with us. I believe we still have Andrew McCabe and Jean Cazares. Andrew, you know, we were talking about what this may or may not have been earlier in the morning. The local officials there clearly saying that this was an intentional act.
Yeah, Danny, that's right. I thought a bit surprising to see the police chief come out that strongly. She was unequivocal that this was an intentional act. She mentioned that the perpetrator drove around their barricades in order to get to the crowd that he was apparently seeking, trying to run over. So it's interesting. And then you had the representative from the FBI, the assistant special agent in charge, say that they did not believe it was a terrorist attack, or maybe they weren't ready to conclude that at this point. And I think it's important to note that there are distinctions there. You could have an intentional act that is criminal in nature by someone who's trying to hurt someone else or a group of other people that is not connected to some sort of a terrorist organization or motivated by terrorism. So there's all sorts of kind of gray area right now, despite the amount of information we got out of that very brief press conference. There's still a lot of questions to be answered. And the biggest for me right now, Danny, is do they have this individual in custody? Because if I'm correct, neither the police chief nor the FBI representative was clear about that. If he crashed the vehicle and then fired shots at police officers, you would think that he's in custody, but of course we don't know that yet. We certainly can't confirm that. But no question, they're handling this with everything they've got, and I think putting the FBI in the lead investigatively is probably the right call. They certainly have the assets and the resources necessary to sort through a massive crime scene like this.
Yeah, and Andrew, I agree. That was one of the bigger questions that I had at the end of that press conference. Is again, I agree with you. I did not hear from any of the officials there what the status is of the suspect here. Jean, one of the other fascinating things that the police chief said is that they had as we reported, more than 300 officers in that area around the French Quarter on New Year's Eve. Just tell me, what was your takeaway from what we just heard?
I think all of the resources they had, they brought in to the area, especially when this happened. I guess we do know now that it was an intentional scene, though. So this is a massive crime scene that they are processing right now as we speak. 26 were injured, is what we heard through that press conference. But what I can see is that, talking about this being a working crime scene, when they mentioned the improvised explosive devices, there appeared to be a question. They were not sure if, in fact, that's what they had that they would be looking at now, but they wanted everyone and anyone to stay away from the Bourbon Street area. So it appears as though that's their next order of business right here, to see exactly what is going on with the possibility of those devices.